Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome into the podcast. Today we'll be going over just some quick things on the NFL. This shouldn't be a super long episode, so we'll just get right into it. So, things I'm noticing today, or that I saw today on the draft, was that Shedeur Sanders will be the betting favorite to go to the Saints now. I find this kind of interesting. I know that the Saints currently do need a quarterback right now, but I'm surprised that they think that Shedeur could fall that far. I think the Raiders should have taken him. Clearly, they have shown that they don't want him now because they signed Gino to a contract extension for 2 years worth 75 million. My whole thing is I think the Raiders could still draft him and just have Gino like play for 2 years and just have Shador sit behind him for 2 years, or maybe even 1 year and try and move off the contract. But I guess they just want to stick with Gino for the next 2 years. I think they should go with the quarterback of the future, but this does surprise me to see that Shador will be falling to possibly the Saints. I'm not really sure how he would do with the Saints. I mean, they don't really have any receivers and they don't really have much going for them right now. I mean, they just got Kellen Moore as their new head coach, which obviously is good for offensively, but I don't see how well he would do with the Saints. So this was kind of a shock to me. I did have Shador going to the Raiders before, thinking that maybe he could sit behind Gino, but it seems as if that people are thinking, like odds makers are thinking, that Shador is more likely to go to the Saints than the Raiders for at this point because of the Geno contract. Next up, we have Travis Hunter is now the betting favorite to go to the Browns. This shocks me quite a bit. I understand that the Browns don't have great receivers right now or great. I mean, I think they have great cornerbacks, or I wouldn't say great, I would say good cornerbacks. But it does surprise me that they would go for Travis Hunter here. I think, I mean, you can take him high because he is one of the best prospects in this draft. But I think you should take Abdul Carter or even Shador Sanders if you're the Browns this early. I mean, Cam Ward is clearly going to be going to the Titans, and they do need a quarterback. Right now, they have Deshaun Watson and Kenny Pickett as their two quarterbacks, and that is not a recipe for success. Clearly, Deshaun Watson will probably not be playing there. I mean, he'll be there as a backup, but he won't be playing at all for the next however long his contract is. And Kenny Pickett, I would say, is probably not the best quarterback to go with, but who knows? I did see that since Travis Hunter is the betting favorite for the Browns, I mean, maybe they think that Abdul Carter isn't a good choice. I think it would be, just because if you have Abdul Carter, Myles Garrett on each side, I mean, I think that does a lot more damage than a what Travis Hunter can do. Because at best, if he wants to play both sides, like I've said in previous episodes, he's going to be playing the three on both sides. So he's going to be a three cornerback and a three receiver. I mean, you wouldn't want him to be your number one receiver or your number two. That's way too many reps. And if he has that many reps on the offensive side, then he's not going to be able to play the defensive side. So to me, I don't really see how that would work. I think it's better if Travis Hunter goes to either the Giants, where they have a number one, as in Malik Neighbors, or the Patriots, where you can put him behind Stephon Diggs, and maybe the Patriots can draft another receiver in the second round and possibly get a like number one in the second round and have Travis play the three. Next up, we have story that I saw by Sports Illustrated. I find this kind of interesting and actually pretty true. The main title was, um, "Is Brock Purdy's success due to Christian McCaffrey's injury or staying healthy?" Which is basically saying like, is the only reason Brock Purdy is good at this time is because Christian McCaffrey is healthy, and those two correlate. It's pretty obvious. Brock Purdy last year was not the best, and Christian McCaffrey was injured most of last year, or yeah, most of last year because he only played the one game at the beginning of the year. So this can go for any quarterback, I would say. Every quarterback needs a good running back. It always helps out. But I would say with Brock Purdy specifically, it's almost needed because he is a smaller quarterback. He is more of a gunslinger with not the gunslinger arm because he doesn't have the arm strength to be a gunslinger. So I think like not having the play action aspect with Christian McCaffrey really hinders Brock's ability to throw the ball downfield because it's very clear from last year's perspective that he cannot just I mean, he can. It's just not going to be great. But he throws a lot more interceptions when he is just throwing out the shotgun or like the single back with no play action, like just full snapping and no play action. He is going to throw bad interceptions, and he's not going to be as great as he should be. And by should be, I mean with Christian McCaffrey himself. So I guess my biggest thing is if I was Kyle Shanahan, I would try to find somebody that could be behind Christian McCaffrey. The one problem with Kyle Shanahan's offense, I would say, is the fact that he is known to run running backs into the ground. I mean, it is very clear most of the running backs that have gone through the Kyle Shanahan process usually end up injured in like the next like year or two. So I don't think Christian McCaffrey is going to be he'll be healthy maybe most of this year, but I just don't see him going back to that running back method of what he used to be. So if that's true, which I think it is, that Brock Purdy's success is tied to Christian McCaffrey being healthy, then it's more of a reason of not to sign Brock to a big deal that they've been talking about. And if he wants a big deal, then he can go into free agency and see what he can find. But I can tell you right now that I don't think that many teams, unless they have great running backs, are going to take Brock Purdy, which most of the teams I would probably take him would be bad teams. And a lot of the bad teams don't have great running backs. So to me, I would say that if you're the 49ers, just I would not pay Brock Purdy to a 50 million or more deal. So cool. Last thing, I just wanted to hit on this pretty quick. It's not a big deal. Nobody's cared about Trey Lance since he was with the 49ers, but he did sign a 1-year deal with the Chargers that is worth 6.2 million. I found this uh, interesting because this basically makes him the third string with the Chargers, right behind Taylor Heineke. I think the Chargers are just trying like help him out here. Trey Lance hasn't been good since he's gotten in the NFL. Uh, Mike McCarthy was actually quoted saying like that he needs more experience because he only played 19 games in college at North Dakota State. I mean, I saw there was a possibility that he could go to the CFL or or UFL. I mean, I don't see how if you're Trey Lance, like you're never going to get a starting job. You're always going to be backup. Uh, the Chargers have him as a third stringer. He could possibly play, I guess, if somehow Justin Herbert, who's been really good about not getting injured as much, As other quarterbacks, I would say that he could possibly play if Justin Herbert gets injured, Taylor Heineke gets injured, and then I guess Trey Lance would play. If you're Jim Harbaugh, maybe you just see something in him that nobody else does. But I personally do not think that Trey Lance is like he's just not worth the squeeze at this point. Like he's not worth the money that he gets, and I'm sure the 6.2 million is probably like a lot of playing time stuff. So it's probably more like 1 million deal. But I think that Trey Lance will probably be out of the NFL by either next year or the year after. At this point, there's no way that he's going to be staying in the NFL. Cool. So that was everything I had for this weekend and a little bit last week. I took a little bit of a break just because not much of the NFL is going on right now. Obviously, we have the draft coming up around end of April here. But besides that, I think we'll just have to keep hitting on these small topics. Once the NBA playoffs roll around, I might start hitting that and giving my picks for who might be winning the games there. But until then, I will see y'all later. Peace.